we lost 3 out of 4 quarters, so really they were the ones that dominated the play. They were clearly the aggressors from the start. Throughout the game, we had a very good third quarter. Our aggression was better. Did some great things to build a 6-point lead, and then gave up dribble penetration. Had some bad offensive possessions, and the thing got away from us. And so, got to compete better, harder, more consistently. Got to give them credit for how hard they played. And this is a tough loss. Get some?
14 first half turnovers led to 17 points for them. Only 4 turnovers, I think, in the second half. What was the conversation like at the break to just clean that up?
Pretty simple. Just, create better space on the floor, put 2 hands on the ball, put 2 eyeballs on somebody you're throwing it to. Definitely did a better job in the second half with ball security. But, it's a 48-minute game, and you consistently lose the first quarter, you're going to lose more than your share of NBA games. It's hard to dig out of that hole, and things in the first, second quarter translate to the second half and the fourth quarter. So, again, I can't compliment their hard play enough. It was to the point where they were so physical that whistles just simply weren't blowing. And at halftime, we decided we had to just bear down, not pay attention to what was happening with whistles, and we'll get more aggressive ourselves. We did, had a great third quarter, and then again the fourth quarter got away from us.
Talk about the third quarter. Caris had this 12-point stretch there where he kind of got going. Do you think he's, finding more of a rhythm and just getting used to playing basketball?
I'm not really interested in talking about offensive rhythm right now. I'm interested in competing hard and letting our offense come more off of our defense. That's how we're going to have to play. I mean, playing like we did tonight is a losing recipe for NBA basketball. Teams that play as hard as Detroit did tonight aren't gonna let you have any rhythm. So what you got to do is you got to raise your level of aggression so that you can get them on their heels. And it wasn't until the second half that we did it. And then, the run we made was great, but we weren't able to sustain. Had we done better things in the first and second quarter, it positions you much better to sustain, especially on the road. And their crowd got into it, and it was tough down the stretch.
What went into the decision to start Keelan? Holiday had started the last couple of games, and then secondly, how do you think he accepted the challenge of guarding? Jeremy Grant had a couple plays there where he really guarded well.
Yeah, I think Keelan's earned the minutes. Felt that Justin has played. We've played better as a team when he's played off the bench. With that physical matchup, thought that Keelan guarding Grant was a good way for us to go. I thought he did a solid job on Grant. So that was the reason.
And what do you think he can learn from just that first career start? Did you see anything different from him, or what was that conversation like?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're a young NBA player, this is what you strive for. As an opportunity to earn these kinds of minutes. It's something that players always want to do. Most players want to be starters because you go right from warm-ups into the game and you're right into it. But the responsibility is greater, and you're guarding a guy who's scored 27 in wins and 17 in losses. I mean, that's a big responsibility. But I thought he did some good things. But I just thought as a team, we didn't compete well enough together, consistently enough to win the game.
Did talk about competing? Did Torrey compete well today? I think he had 10, 5 of 7 off the bench. Hadn't scored the last couple of games.
Yeah, Torrey's did a lot of good things out there. And look, we got to play our competitors. We're not a perfect team. We're not whole right now with Chris being out. That really makes it tough for us. But we've got enough to win games. But we have thin margins for error. So everybody's got to do their job, and we can't have anybody trying to do things that are not strengths of their game. I mean, and that happened some tonight with some passes and some turnovers and things like that. And hey, we just got to do better. Just got to do better.
Last one for me. Cade, number 1 pick, had 16, 8, and 6. What stands out to you about his game and what he's able to do? He had a couple stretches there where he kind of took over.
He's a great young player, and he's in a situation where he's learning about the importance of hard play, and so it bodes very well for his future and the future of their franchise. So I'm very impressed. And I think it's pretty clear that he's only going to get better. The more he plays and the more experience that he gets.
Pat Boylan on Zoom, go ahead.
Rick, 14 assists tonight. Did you notice similar ball movement issues that you saw in New York on Monday?
This isn't a ball movement issue. This is a hard play issue. They played harder. They took us out of the majority of things that we were trying to do offensively in the first half, and we just got to play harder and with more force at both ends. We get more stops, we'll get better looks at the basket. But taking the ball out of their basket and then trying to execute against a team that's playing like their pants are on fire, is a difficult formula to try to win basketball games in this league.
Scott Agnes.
Rick, this team's kind of lacked that spirit, that pop the last couple of games. Why do you think that is?
I didn't think we lacked it in the Philly game. Oh, okay, the last couple of games. Yeah. Look, when you lose, you got to do everything better. You got to do everything better. And the truth is, when you win, you look at film, there's a lot of things you can do better there as well. But winning is a great deodorant for these kinds of challenges, flaws, whatever they are. And so, hey, we just got to bring up our competitiveness as a group. I mean, that's what this is all about.
Caris, what worked for you in the third quarter there? I guess what's that feeling like when you get on the stretch like that?
I think I just saw one go in and just tried to be aggressive. I think the first half, Detroit did a good job of getting the ball out of my hands in a couple early pick and rolls. I had some threes go in and out as well. One in the corner, one from the top of the key. Can't really control that. So I just try to be aggressive and just trust my work.
How much of that is a product of just being out here more? I mean, third straight game playing. Obviously, playing is important to playing well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely tough. It's definitely tough getting your rhythm, coming back from an injury, playing through an injury, what have you. But just try to go out there and make plays. Try to play as hard as I can for as long as I can. Obviously we wanted to win tonight. We didn't play as well as we wanted to as a team, and we just got to figure out, down the stretch where the ball is supposed to go, what we're supposed to do defensively, and we'll figure it out.
Coach Carlisle said this is like a play harder issue. They play harder, they play tougher than us. It's kind of how he described it. Would you look at it that way? And if so, what do you all have to do to match that intensity going forward?
Yeah, I think they play harder than us at certain points of the game. I feel like we played pretty hard at some portions of the game, but they scored 97 points. I mean, that's pretty good defense, especially in today's NBA. So I think we need to look in the mirror and see what we're doing offensively. Second game in a row, we didn't even touch 90. So we can say defense all we want, but I think offensively we have some problems that we need to address.
Keelan made his first career start tonight. Did you talk to him about it at all? And obviously it wasn't what he may have wanted or envisioned, And I guess what's the conversation like before and after a game, you know, like that?
Nah, we shared a moment before the game. Just told him it was good to see him out there in the lineup. Man, I know what Keelan's been through, and I know we all know how talented Keelan is offensively, defensively. We know, how bad he wants to be, really good in this league and how much he deserves to play. So it's awesome to see him out there excelling and getting the start tonight.
What do you think it says about his tenacity, maybe the dog in him to accept the challenge of guarding Jeremy Grant? I mean, this is a guy who won an Olympic gold medal or something.
Yeah, no, Keelan is he's probably one of the toughest competitors that I play with. He's one of those guys who you want on your team. And like I said, I'm just happy for him. Happy to see his hard work paying off because I know how much he wants it, how bad he wants it.
On Zoom, Pat Boylan.
Caris, you noted this has been a good offensive team this year, but the last couple of games you've been held under 90. Have there been similar trends, and what initially, without getting to watch a ton of film, stands out to you as the areas that you guys need to improve upon in offense?
Turnovers, I think, is what stands out right away. I think we had, 18 for like 20 points for them. So I think that's a big number right there. As opposed to 13 for them for 12 points. I think a lot of those came from trying to get the ball into the post, just time after time. And I know we never really made the adjustment, so we got to figure that out. Like I said, we have a lot of problems offensively that we have to figure out.
Scott Agnes, go ahead.
Gary's second straight game where you talk about opponents being very physical and getting into you guys. Combine that with the way the game is being called now. Do you feel like maybe that's an area now where you guys will have to adapt and figure out?
Yeah, I think there's some adjustments there. I think, with the physicality, you kind of have to play faster. You got to screen harder. You got to cut harder. You got to make better decisions. And I think we did that in stretches, but down the stretch we didn't do that. And they did. They made the plays down the stretch we didn't. Kind of was the same story last game, so we got to figure it out.
Last one, Tony East.
Caris, you guys took shots from about the same areas that you typically do, but in this game, a lot of them were contested. Did you like the shot quality you guys got today? I know you're talking about some offensive struggles.
Yeah, I think we missed a lot of open threes, definitely. But when you turn the ball over 18 times, you give another team more possessions, and it's hard to win that way, no matter who you're playing against. When they get more shots than you, when they get more possessions than you, it's harder to outscore somebody. So I like the shots that we did get, but we have to just get more. We have to turn the ball over less.
Malcolm, turnovers, 18 of them, 14 in the first half. What was the conversation like at halftime to fix that? And then, I guess, how hard is it to overcome that when you've already done it?
It was clear the turnovers were killing us. They were converting on them. We knew going into the game that we didn't need to take care of the ball, but we didn't, and it hurt us tonight.
Coach Carlisle talked about you all having to just play harder, play tougher. He said the third quarter you all did that, but how do you, as one of the leaders of the team, help the team do that over 4 quarters?
Yeah, it's definitely leading by example. I think I got to amp it up for sure. Energy, intensity. But we have to do it for all 4 quarters. It can't just be 1 quarter. We've shown stretches and we've shown games where we've done it for 48 minutes. And those are the games we've won. So, we got to figure out how to be consistent and do it every game.
Keelan made his first career start tonight. Did you have a conversation with him before the game, after the game, or how do you think he's the challenge of guarding Jeremy Grant?
I thought he was great defensively. I thought he was really, really good, especially your first start and you're guarding the other team's best player for 30 minutes. I thought he was tremendous. And all around, I thought he played a good game. Shots may have not fallen the way he wanted them to, but he was aggressive and he defended well for us.
And then Caris talked about trying to just get better looks or find offensive rhythm. I guess what do you all have to do to just get easier looks or make easier looks or things like that?
Just keep moving the ball, taking the first shot. I thought we honestly turned down some shots and re-drove it instead of just shooting the open 3 tonight. So yeah, moving the ball, trusting it, and taking the shots that are there.
Pat Boylan on Zoom.
Malcolm, after struggling offensively as a team in the first half, you guys had that big third quarter. What weren't you able to find in that fourth quarter that you were in the third?
I guess a rhythm on offense. They started blitzing and trapping me, and I think that took us out of out of what we were doing or what we were having success in. I thought we got a little stagnant. And then defensively, we weren't getting the stops. They kept getting to the free throw line. Fouling down the stretch has been a common theme for us in our losses, and we have to get better at that.
Scott Agnes, go ahead.
Malcolm, last 2 games we've seen the opponent just be very physical, outplay. How much do you feel like that has kind of disrupted what you guys need to do, try to do, and need to be correct here moving forward?
Yeah, other teams are trying to be more physical, but we try to be physical too. We weren't as physical as Detroit was tonight, and that was the problem. But we got to be better.
Last one, Pat Boylan.
Is it that physicality that caused this number to be low again tonight, 14? And when they're being physical, how do you find ways to keep the ball moving?
You got to drive the ball when they're being physical. Hopefully the refs will call it. Tonight there weren't many calls, so we got to move the ball and keep being aggressive.
Torrey, hadn't scored the last couple of games, come off bench tonight with 10. Been in the league for a while now. How do you just stay ready for whatever moment, whatever thing you're asked to do?
That's just part of being a professional. Being ready for your team, whatever your team needs you to do. Like you said, I've been in the league for a couple years now, so it's just part of your professionalism. Always being ready, staying ready.
Coach Carlisle talked about you all having to just play harder, saying you all were outplayed as far as effort, I guess, and toughness and things like that. As one of the players on the team, how do you fix that? How do you correct that? How do you, be the aggressor?
We do it at times. We compete, play hard at times, but we also have lapses in quarters, in the quarters, and just give up plays. Tonight, turned the ball over too many times. We said before the game that the team, I think they're second in the league in forced turnovers, and I think we had 13 or 14 by halftime. So we just got to do a better job of taking care of the ball and limiting other teams' extra possessions, and find out ways to score on our end.
Was that a byproduct of them pressure you all, or you all not being on the same page, or a little bit of both?
I think we just guys trying to make the right play, trying to force passes, trying to do a little too much at times, but we just gotta limit the turnovers, especially the live ball turnovers where they can convert on the other end and score in transition. So games like this, man, it's tough to lose games like this, but you use it as a learning experience on what you can get better at, and we will get better at a lot of the things, and get ready for Friday.
Keelan made his first career start tonight. I think there was one play actually in the third quarter where he strip Grant and Sabonis comes down with a layup, ties the game. One of his teammates, having been through that grind, having proved yourself, what were you saying to him just throughout the game? And maybe, offensively didn't work out for him, but how proud are you of the defensive effort he gave against Jeremy Grant?
Yeah, man, I think he was tremendous tonight. His physicality, being up in the guys. Tonight was a physical game. The ref was letting guys play a little bit, so I think that played to his advantage a little bit. And if he can continue doing that for us, that'd be great because we need more of that on this team.
What was his attitude like after the game? Obviously, first career start, you're always going to remember it. Was the outcome you wanted? And maybe if you said anything, if anybody said anything, what did you all do to just help him kind of just move on, if that makes sense?
Coach came in and talked to us after the game, but I think he's fine, man. It's just one game, and like I said, we just got to get ready to bounce back on Friday. We know the things we need to correct. We know the things we need to get better at, and we're going to do that.
All right, a couple more on Zoom. Pat Boylan, go ahead.
Torrey, you've held back-to-back opponents under 100 points, which is typically a recipe for winning, especially on the road. What has inhibited your offense from having the necessary level of success to cash in on
I don't know. I just feel like we get a little stagnant at times. Yeah, man. It's just we're in a tough spot right now, but we'll figure it out. Teams always do. You have these tough stretches you go through. You just have to keep playing through them and learn and get better each game. And I definitely think our offense will click more next game, but we just got to go back, watch film, see how we can get better shots, see how we can generate more shots for each other, and kind of get a little bit of a rhythm and momentum in games offensively.
Scott Agnes, last one.
Yeah, Torrey, obviously offense has been a struggle, but the physical play has been something that's changed by the opponent the last couple of games. What are ways you can kind of combat that? Have you felt that physicality as much as we've seen it?
Yeah. I think that's happening all around the league, not just to us, with the new rules on guys getting on what's a foul and the refs letting everybody play a little bit more. I think all the teams are being more aggressive, so we just have to kind of adapt and not be on the refs so much. I think sometimes we get a little carried away about complaining to the refs, and we just need to kind of like have a next play mentality. So like I said, that's another thing that we'll learn from tonight and move on. So we know the next game we can just, if we get a call, we get it. If not, just move on to the next play. Team's gonna be physical. With us, we have to be physical back and kind of grind it out, because that's how a lot of these games are. We're in fights, so we have to grind consistently for throughout the game.